good evening, all of you, and welcome back to another class. I think the people for Slow Learners Group, we had a class an hour earlier, right? So for today, give me 1 minute, please. Okay. So for today, we're going to conclude market structure, so that by the time we meet tomorrow, we're going to move into an entirely different topic. So the question and answer you're supposed to see tomorrow is what we're going to infuse into today's class as well. Talking everything about market structure. For those of you that are still confused, I had a class earlier with the people on the slow learners subtopics, and only 60 people attended. I'm assuming that they are the 60 that are confused. I think Stan dropped the recording for you guys, so you can always go through and you can always ask questions, right? Tag me to your question if it's still unanswered after a while, right? But I think either I answer or my admins as well the answer. So the questions are always attended to, right? So for today, I want us to mark out market structure from some pairs. For some pairs, we're going to do like for the whole of last year to this year for 2 pairs. So let's say we'll do gold and AUD USD, right? We'll start from beginning of 2024 to March 2025. Okay, but before I start, just a quick recap of what we did in the previous class. I told you guys that we have 3 types of market structure, where I emphasize that we have an uptrend, we have a downtrend, and we have a consolidation market structure. And I gave an example where I said, now, if any of you should, let's say, any of you in class, maybe university students or secondary school students, right? If a teacher or a lecturer should walk up to you now and ask you what this is, let me say for medical students here, you guys are used to vibe already, right? When you don't know anything about something, just say anything that is related to it. So let me say, if somebody walks up to you now and asks you what this is, you may not exactly know what it is. I mean, for people that are very new to trading, I don't think a good number of newbies can just up and say that this represents an uptrend. Some people can say that it looks like a wave that was going to the upside, or can say anything. But so even if you don't have anything to say, at least you know that this is moving to the upside. And this as well. Even if you don't know what this is trying to represent, at least you understand that it looks like something that is going on to the downside. So the uptrend, it just looks like somebody climbing a staircase to the upside. You climb the first one, the second one, the third one, the fourth one, you are ascending. So whenever you are talking about the uptrend, you should be relating it to words like high, increase, ascending, maybe high or higher, increase, ascending, up, these words that show movements to the upside. And when you're talking about the downtrend, you're relating to words like descending, lower, decrease, downwards, down, and the rest of it. And I also emphasized in the last class that the uptrend is made up of what? Protected lows and targeted highs. Why are they called protected lows? Because we're anticipating that price doesn't go below them. Why are they called targeted highs in an uptrend? Because for a new high to be formed, price has to go above the previous highs. So which means for the uptrend, protected lows, targeted highs. Why for the downtrend, protected highs, targeted lows? Because we're anticipating that a new lower high does not go above the previous lower high. Why the lows are targeted, right? Because the new lower low must go below the previous lower low. So we also established that the lows in an uptrend are called higher lows, the highs are called what? Higher highs. I already told you that whenever you hear uptrend, what should come to your mind is what? High, up, increase, ascending. So which means that the lows are what? High lows. The highs are what? High highs. So the lows in an uptrend are called what? Higher lows. The highs are called what? Higher highs. When you see a downtrend, when you hear downtrend, what should come to your mind is what? Lower. What should come to your mind is decrease, descending, somebody coming down, right? Downwards. So the lows are also what? Lower lows. The highs are what? Lower highs. Downtrend low, uptrend high, right? And I told you, why are they called higher highs? Because they go above the previous highs. Why are they called lower lows? Because they go below the previous lows. Why we establish that the ranging or the consolidation market structure is what? Is made up of what? Equal highs and equal lows. Since price is what's moving in the same level, it is not putting in a new high, rather is it putting in what's a new low. Instead, it's just moving in one level. So they are called what? Equal highs and equal lows. I think in the class that I had today, I gave a very good example. Let's say we have what? A firstborn. For most of you that are born in families that have like plenty children. Let's say you got like 6 children in your house, right? And then you are the firstborn. This is you. You would agree with me that the second child now is going to be what? Lower than you. You are the firstborn, so of course you're the highest, right? The second child will be what? Lower than you. The third child will have to respect the second child because the third child is lower than the second child. The fourth child will have to respect the third child because the fourth child is what? Lower than the third child. The fifth child will have to respect the fourth child because the fifth child is what? Lower than what? The fourth one. You can see that for each new children that your parents give birth to, they are what? They are lower than the previous children because the previous children will always be what? Higher than them. That is what the downtrend looks like. Each new one is lower. Each new high is lower. You understand? Why for the ranging or consolidation market structure, just like twins, triplets, right? When one mother gives birth to 4 children on the same day, no one is firstborn, secondborn, or thirdborn, or fourthborn. They are all equal. They were born what? On the same day. That is what this looks like. When nobody is older than anybody, right? They are the same. That is why you see people go with the ranging or consolidation market structure. They are called what? They are called equal highs and equal lows, right? So also I emphasized on what? Change of character in the previous class, where I talked about, let's say you have a friend that is constantly calling you, that person that you talk to all the time, or I think the most common thing in our generation now, talking stage, right? You have this person that is like always chatting with you, talking with you guys, and then all of a sudden this person withdraws that energy. The person is no longer calling you like they usually do. What comes to your head is that this person's character has changed, though. This is not how this person used to behave before. This is not how this person used to act now. Something is wrong somewhere. That is the same thing on the chart. When price was moving bullish, creating protected lows and targeted highs, and all of a sudden, price decided to target a protected low. No, now this is not what price used to do before. Something is wrong somewhere. Price has changed character. This is not the price that I used to know. You know, things like that. And I told you that this change of character usually comes with a change in trends. Your friend deciding not to call you for 2 or 3 times consecutively will come with what? An unconfirmed change in their character. Maybe they may never call you as often as they used to do before. Maybe this is their new character. They want to stop what they were doing before. That's the same thing with price. When price stays at a protected low, when he was not taking it out before, what comes to your mind is, price has changed his character. Something is wrong somewhere. What if he no longer wants to buy? What if he wants to, But then what confirms the what if is if that's your friend now does it again. Do you understand? Your friend has done it again, which means that, the first one was not a mistake. Taking out that protected level on the chart was not a mistake. And price goes ahead to do what? Putting a new break of structure in the direction of that previous break, right? After taking out the protected low, price does create another lower low, lower high, and a new lower low. For another break of structure to the downside. now confirms to you that, oh, that was not a mistake. Oh, your friend deciding not to call you was not a mistake. This is the new character. Price taking out a protected level was not a mistake. Oh, right? This is a new trend. So after change of character, another break of structure confirms that the price has resumed a new trend. So if you were in an uptrend and you have a change of character and another break of structure, automatically you are anticipating that price will start a downtrend, right? Because it has changed character from bullish to bearish. Okay? And then if you were in a downtrend, right? And then price decides to do what? Price decides to change character and come forward to confirm the character. Automatically, you now know that you're no longer in a downtrend. Instead, you're now anticipating that price does what? Price now continues bullish. Since it has confirmed that this is the new me. I am no longer a seller. I am now a buyer. All right. So also, I need to emphasize on the fact that there are times that change of character can be formed and they are not going to cause a change in price. That is why I talked about the confirmation being important. It's just like that's your friend that didn't call you. You know, somebody that calls you every day and all of a sudden they didn't call you today and they will not call you tomorrow, right? And then you call them, you try to reach out to them and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, it's not like this. I had the exams, they give excuses and then they resume calling again, which means that they didn't confirm their change of character. Instead, they apologized and continued in your own way. It's the same thing. Something like this can happen on the chart, whereby price takes out a protected level, which is a higher low, creating a change of character. And then instead of now giving us a confirmation that it has changed its trend by doing something like this, it does what? It goes ahead to put in a new high. So in this case, it is a liquidity sweep. When we get to engagement and liquidity, you guys understand this better, right? Don't worry. So in this case, it is a liquidity sweep. When it takes it out, but does not give any confirmation. This is why I said that whenever you see a change of character, wait for the confirmation before you say that trend has changed. Because sometimes price can still continue in that direction. The same thing for the downtrend as well. All right. So let's look at chart examples of this market and market structure. We're going to start from January 2024. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, I think this is where 2024. So this is 2024. We're going to start from this low, this particular low here. So we have this low 1, and we have the next low 2. Now I want you guys to notice something. There is a high here, and there is a high here, which is high 1 and high 2. But if you notice very clearly, which of them is my higher high? It is the highest point that price got to before the new low. This is the new low. This is low 2. This is higher low 2. So which means that it is only right to say that this is my higher high. The highest point before this retracement. Remember our retracement and expansion moves, right? So for you to know the valid lower high or lower low or higher high or higher low, just know that it is highest points before the new lows and lowest points before the new highs. So this was the lowest point that price got to before creating this new high. So this is my next higher high. You can see that high went that high went above this previous high. This is what we call a break of structure to the upside, right? And then we have we now have this was the highest point that price got to before a new low. Now where is the new low? This is the new low. Just not to confuse you, every time you have a higher high, maybe you're marking on structure, you can just take your arrow or your trend line to and cross it like this. So you would know when price takes it out, right? You can see that since this is the previous high, until price takes this high out, no higher high is valid. So this is not our higher high. This is not our higher high. This is not our higher high. Our higher high is the high that takes out the previous higher high. So in this case, this is what? This is our higher high. And if we look at the lows as well, we have low 1 and we have what? Low 2. Your valid higher low is the lowest point that price got to before creating what? The new high. And if you look very closely, where is it? This particular low is lower than this one. So this is what? This is our valid higher low. This is what? Our higher high. Continuing again, you have what? You have 3 lows at this point. We have what? We have this low. If you see what happened here, drawing out our trend line again to see when price went above this high. This was what? This was our higher high. So our valid higher low is what? The lowest point before that higher high. If you look here, we have what? We have 1 low, 2 low, 3 low, 4 low, and 5 low in this what? In this retracement move. So which one is the valid higher low? Is the lowest point among all of them, which is what? Which is low 3. This is what? This is our valid higher low, right? And then what happens? Price does what? Price after creating that higher low creates what? The higher high. Higher point is what? Higher high is what? The highest point before the new low. And if you look again, in this retracement move, we have low 1, we have low 2, we have low 3, we have low 4, and we have low 5. So which of them is your valid higher low? It is the lowest point among all of them, which is this hammer candlestick here, which is what? Low 3. This is what? Your valid higher low. The lowest point before the new high is what? Your valid higher low. Now, if you look at what I've been doing since, I've been marking out what? I've been marking out series of what? Higher low, higher high. Higher low, higher low, higher high. 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 Same thing that I illustrated for you before. That is what? An uptrend. Price is an uptrend because it keeps getting what? Series of higher lows and higher highs. Right? So continuing now, continuing now, this is what? Our next higher high at this point, because this was what? The highest point that price got to that took out this previous high. That is what? That is our higher high. And that higher high created what? This zone as our what? As our higher low. The lowest point before the new high. This was the high that took out this previous high. So lowest point before what? Before this new high. That went ahead to create what? This new low. That created this new high. That created what? This new low. Now you understand why this is not my low. You understand why this is not my low. And you understand why this is not my low. Because this is the lowest point before what? Before the new high. Right? That's the lowest point before the new high. So continuing again, we had what? We had price putting what? Another higher low at this point. This was the lowest point before this new high. And then price came back again to create what? This next higher low that created what? This higher high. Remember, for every time that a new high takes out a previous high, we have what? A break of structure, which means that this new high taking out this high is what? A BOS. This high taking out this high, BOS. This high taking out this high, BOS. Right? We are seeing a series of what? Higher lows and higher highs. Higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. This is what? An uptrend. But then something very interesting now happened. This was our previous low that created what? The most recent high at this point. And then instead of price to what? Protect this level, you can see that that level became what? Targeted. Price took out a protected level. This is what we call what? A change of character. When price takes out what? A level of protection. That is what? That is a change of character at this point. So here we have what? A change of character. I told you that change of character looks like what? It looks like break of shoulder to the upside and to the downside at the same time. Just like this. BOS, BOS, BOS to upside, BOS to upside, and then downside. Do you understand? This is the schematic diagram of the change of character. This is what it looks like. When price takes out a protected low in an uptrend or takes out a protected high in a downtrend. When you have BOS, 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 and then what happens? Takes out a protected high. This is what the change of character looks like. And it comes with an unconfirmed change in direction of price. But you need another break of structure to confirm that price has finally changed its trend. And if you look at what happened here now, after price took out that level, what did it do? It went ahead to do what? After putting in this low, it went ahead to do what? To give us another break of structure in the same direction of price, right? By creating this lower high at this point. Why is this your lower high? This is the highest point that price got to before this new low. So this is not your lower high. This is not your lower high. This is not your lower high. The highest point before the new low is your lower high. So as at this point here now, price has given you what? Your confirmation of the change of character, which means that now you assume that price is now what? In a downtrend. And you can see that price came, it retraced a bit, and then it sold to put in what? A new low at this point. So to do what? Put in a new low. This is now what? This is like you now riding the new trend. But then something very interesting happened after this. Price took out this protected level again, giving us what? Another change of character. The moment price went above this high, this protected high, this is what? This is another change of character. And I told you that a change of character comes with a change in the direction of the market, but you need another break of structure to confirm that price has really changed its trend. And that was what happened when price did what? Well, after creating this higher high, what did it do? It retraced to put in a higher low and what? A higher high. As at this point, what did price do? Price broke structure in the direction of that change. So now you know that what? You're no longer bearish. You are now what? Bullish. Because price has created what? A change of character and what? And has given you what? Another break of structure after that change of character to confirm what? The new trend. And after that, what happened? You now continued bullish, in a bullish way, price creating what? Series of what? Higher lows. Then you have what? Higher lows and the higher highs, the higher lows and what? The higher highs. So protected lows, targeted highs, protected lows, targeted highs. Can you see how you are interpreting this word market structure? You've gotten your confirmation and then you start looking for what? Start looking for price. You can see the way price kept on it, buying to. And you can see the way price continued buying to the upside until something very interesting happened again at this point, where you have what? Price take out this protected level. So you can see that a trend continues until a change of character occurs. The bullish trend continues until a change of character occurs. The bearish trend continues until what? A change of character occurs. And then price takes out that protected low, does what? After breaking to the upside, it breaks what? To the downside. This is what? Another change of character that comes with a change in trend. But then what happens? You need to see a confirmation that price has really taken out that level. That price has really taken out by that level. And price has really changed character, before you can confirm that the trend is now flipped. And in this case, you can see that after creating this lower low, what the price do? It came back to create this lower high and then create what? This lower low. Let me see. Okay, this low went below and then create what? This lower low at this point. And then it came back again to create another lower high, another lower low, another lower high, another what? Lower low at this point. I don't think that low went below, right? So in this case now, price going above this was the previous lower high. before the new change of character. This lower high and then this lower low. And then what the price do? Price went above this protected level again, right? And I told you that when you see price change character, it can be two things. It can either be price trying to grab liquidity, or it can be price actually trying to change trend. So you need to see a confirmation before you assume that the trend has finally been changed. And in this case, that confirmation was not created. Price actually just went ahead to create another low at this point. Now that low point there, as at that point, every other thing that was happening was internally, because you can see here now, price went ahead to do was create this internal high. So this is not your new lower high, neither is this your new higher high. Until price takes out the previous protected level, every other thing happening inside is what? Sub break of structure, minor break of structure. That this right now is an example of what? A minor break of structure. Since it's in a bullish trend, this is an example of what? A sub break of structure, right? So you can see that this was the point at which price changed character by taking out this high. And what did it do? It went ahead to confirm the changed character by putting in another higher low at this point, a higher low at this point, a higher high at this point, a new higher low, and what? A new higher high. Remember, how am I marking out my higher lows? The lowest points before the new high, the highest points before the new lows, right? That's how I'm marking my higher lows and my higher highs. And then what happens right after? Price was, after creating this low and this high, it took out another protected level, right? At this point, took out another protected level at this point. I don't want to use this week as a taking out because it's not so significant, right? So this is the point at which price took out this level. And what happens after taking out that level? Price did not put in another higher low, another lower low. So it did not confirm the change of character. Instead, after putting in that low, what did it do? It went ahead to create a new high, which means it is still what? It is still bullish. For it to confirm that it has changed to bearish, it would have done what? It would have created something like this, where it goes ahead to do what? Create a new lower high and then put in what? A lower low, just like this. So since it took out, it changed character and still continued in that direction. That is what? That is not a change in trend yet, right? So here you have what? A new higher high that price has created the moment it went above this previous higher high, right? And then that higher high did what? This was the point that higher high was taken out, this point here. So the lowest point before that higher high was taken out is what is going to be called what? Your lower low, which is this point. So this is what? Your lower low, this is what? Your higher high. So your higher low, this is what? Your higher high. Continuing, you have what? The next higher low, lowest point before what? Before the new high. This is what? Your next higher high. Why is this not your next higher high? You can see that this pullback is insignificant, right? This pullback is significant as well. So this is your higher low, higher high, and then what happens? Because this is the highest point before what? Before the new low. This is the new low, the highest point before the new low. So this becomes what? Your next what? Your next higher high, your next higher low. This becomes what? Your next higher high, your next higher low, your next what? Higher high. You can see that in this case, price has been what? Price has been moving to the upside, creating what? Series of higher highs and higher lows. This is what the uptrend looks like. And if you continue, what happens here after that higher low was created? We had what? We had another change of character. I told you the moment price takes out a protected level, the change of character has occurred. Here we have what? A change of character. I told you that it looks like break of structure to the upside and break of structure was to the downside at the same time. This is what the change of character looks like, right? BOS to the upside, BOS to the downside at the same time. This is your change of character. right? And it comes with an unconfirmed change in the direction of price. You need to see another break of structure after this change of character has been formed for you to see that price has what the price has changed its trend. And you have what happened here when price did what? When price after putting in this lower low, went ahead to put in what? This lower high and created what? Another lower low at this point. That lower low pulled back to create another lower high. Basically, this was the confirmation. And after that confirmation, price was then selling, creating what series of what lows and what lower highs and what lower lows. So we had sales at this point. And then again, what happened? Another change of character occurred at this point. The price took out this protected high. When price took out this protected high, when price went above that protected level. So here we now have a change of character again. This was what the high that change of character created. And price retraced to create this higher low that created this new higher high, right? And then what happened again? Price now came back to do what? To take out this level. The point at which this level was taken out is a change of character. But I told you it is not confirmed yet, because sometimes this taking out the level can just be taking out the level of inducement to mitigate a zone below and continue buying, which was what happened here. I told you that you understand better when we get to liquidity and inducement. Which was what happened here. Price took out this level and more like changed character, but did not confirm the change of character. So if price does not confirm a change of character, it means that it does not confirm the new trend. So you're continuing with the old trend. And I can see that what happened after price did that, it went ahead to create another high at this point, right? So you have your new higher high that price has created. So which means that you're still continuing the uptrend, because price did not give you a confirmation of its new character. And what happened? It continued creating series of higher lows and higher highs, higher lows and higher highs, higher lows and higher highs, higher lows and higher highs. Why is this not my higher high? Because this high did not go above this previous high. This was the high that took out this previous high. So this is your higher high. We're not mapping this as your higher high, and this is your higher low, because this is the lowest point that price got through before creating this high. That's the lowest point that price got through before creating this high. And what happens after that? Price took out this protected low, right? Price took out this protected low. The moment this protected low was taken out, this is our change of character again. But I told you that most of the times when this change of character occurs, it is so long as it's not confirmed yet, you're not confirming the new trend. As you can see, price took out that level to mitigate this zone, to keep buying. So still bullish, because after price changed character, what did it do? It still went ahead to do to take out a targeted level. So it changed character but didn't give a confirmation for sell. Instead, it continued buying to the upside. So which means that at the moment, as at the time of this class, 14th March 2025, gold is still bullish. So anticipating series of new highs and new lows. Once the price does changes character and gives another break of structure to confirm that it has changed its strength. That is where we can now say that gold is now bearish. So this is the mapping out of structure on gold from January 2024 on the 4 hours time frame to March 2025. Right? You can see how easy it is to identify these lows and these highs. We're using the method of lowest point before new highs, highest point before new lows. Change of character, fine, but it must give a confirmation before you assume that it has changed its trend, right? So I don't know. Is anybody still having difficulties in market structure? You can ask a question now, because you guys will have an assignment after this class. So if you have issues, if you have questions, you can be typing on the question group as well, right? And then For those of you that have your answers, that you can start asking from here. So, Michael, I can hear you. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. The this class I've just attended, I've been trying to drop some of even this. Thank God you use good. So I use good for my practice yesterday, but I'm finding it difficult to understand the MBOS, the minor break of structure, and also the sub break of structure, how they work in those, because at some point I have to go and put it on one day time frame to check some things so I can really get to understand what how minor break of structure work in this uptrend of it, in uptrend and downtrend too.
Okay, so minor break of structure and sub break of structure. The reason why I'm not emphasizing on it now is because you're not going to need them when you're trying to get your overall price bias. You understand? They are majorly for catching continuations. Like when you have like a trade or a point of interest on the 4 hours and then you're trying to like catch continuations on like 15 minutes and all of that. That is when you're going to involve the minor and the sub break of structures. That is why I'm not like mentioning it here, so that I don't confuse other people. We definitely get to those points when we get to like entries, time frame correlations, and the rest of it. Do you understand? So when we get there, I think that question should be answered properly. Banksy, economic sector.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please. The first, I have two questions. Number one, the MBOS, that's the minus break of structure and the sub break of structure. One. And the second question is, why marking out the higher highs and higher lows? I think you made mention of something in the last class that when there is a change of character, we'll wait for a confirmation that's a break of structure before we can start thinking of taking any trade. But I think why marking out the higher highs and higher lows this night, that as the break of structure and the market structure shift this night, like after a market structure shift and after break of structure, the price will go, we change direction again. That's changing another character. Please, what can we do to that? How can we solve that? What can we do?
Can you send me a visual, a chart example where you're seeing? I'm not really putting it all together. If you can send the question, I'll answer it personally.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Codex.
After you get very relief or Panado or paracetamol.
Hello.
Can you imagine?
Sorry. I just wanted to know, this analysis, is it applicable with crypto pairs as well?
Yes. Market is the same thing. Synthetic, so forex currencies or cryptocurrencies.
If you don't already.
Okay. I think there are so many answers. Okay, so you can drop your questions on the question subtopic on the Telegram. So I'm going to pick 5 more people from down. Victor, can you hear me?
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Please go ahead.
Okay. I think we're still on the topic of market structure. So I want to should I say take us back a bit? You said you made mention of internal structures, external structures, microstructures, substructure. That's the you said internal structure and external structure. Those two are on the same time frame, right?
Internal and external structures. Yes. No, let me show you something in the chat. Let's say now that we have this. You see, this is a This is a higher low, and this is a higher high. You see this particular thing that looks like break of structure, like this, the movement from year to year, right? If you go to the lower time frame, like the 15 minutes time frame, there's a lot of things going on there, a lot of like internal break of structures. There can even be change of characters, like still in this minor leg. Because you remember that I told you that the lower you go on time frames, the more the candlesticks. One candlestick on the 4-hour time frame is going to be 4 candlesticks on the 1-hour time frame, right? Which means that one candlestick on the 4 hours time frame will be like 8 on 15 minutes time frame. So the more the candlesticks, the more the things that they form. That is why, like, you can have price paid something as simple as this, and then internally there's a lot of things going on inside on the lower time frames. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let me see. Pete's Pilot. Good evening. You're gonna meet yourself.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so my question is, when we have a change of character to the downside, for example, then instead of getting a confirmation of the change in trend, we are having another change of character to the upside. Are we going to have to like wait for a confirmation again before riding into the upside, or we can just assume that's just a break of structure?
Sorry, let me get what you're saying. Price is moving in an uptrend, and then we have what? A change of character to the downside. And instead of confirming that change of character, it changes character again, like this. It's not possible for a change of character to occur twice. Because you saying that changes character again means that something like this what happens. If something like this happens, it is not a change of character. It is actually what? Okay, let me say changes character like this, and then goes ahead to put in what? A new low like this, and changes character again. Something like this, right? So if something like this happens, it means that this is what? This is the change of character you're considering. Do you understand? So you're now anticipating that price does what? Puts in a lower high and a lower low. The reason why you're not considering this particular change of character as your confirmation of a new trend is because the high that created that new change of character did what? Went above the previous high. Remember that if price has to what? If price is starting a downtrend, it means that it has to start with what? A lower high before what? A lower low. You understand? So after price pays that second change of character, you still need to see what? You still need to see what? Another lower high and lower low. That's another break of structure to the downside for you to say that what? A new trend has started. Do you understand? Okay, I don't know. What is this? Pete Carey, I don't know what that is. Can you hear me? Good evening. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, boss.
Yes, I have a question like concerning the break of structure we're talking about. Like, how do we get valid break of structure? Because I've heard when some people talk about week to week body break of structure, body to week, like week to week, like that, body to body break of structure. Like, how do we confirm if the break of structure is valid or invalid?
Okay, so the truth is that there are different types of break of structures. I think 3 major ones. You have week to week breaks, you have week to body breaks, and you have body to week breaks. Do you understand? I told you guys, like, for now, you can focus on what? You can focus on body to body. Do you understand? When you're mapping out structures. This is majorly for the newbies. For people that know their way around here, market structure wise, you can still use what? Weeks. For me, I use both week and body when mapping out the market structure. I think you would have seen when I was giving examples here, like when I was mapping out the chart on gold, you can see that there were instances where I was marking out weeks as my new highs or new lows, right? So it just depends on you as a trader. That is very, very subjective. You get it? Depends on you as a trader what you would consider. But I'm just saying that for the beginner level of sample, you guys can what? You can use body to body for now. For those of you that would understand better, you can still use what? Week to week and body to body, right? Just depends on what works for you and what does not confuse you. Okay, Michael, good evening. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, boss.
So I just have one question. You spoke about week to week and body to body. So for this class, which one did you use? Were you using the body to body or the week to week?
I think I used both of them. But the week examples were fewer. Maybe that's why you didn't notice it. Well, I think there were points I wish I marked out a week as my name had. I remember one or two. Most of them were body, but that doesn't mean that I didn't use it. Okay,
right,
so one more person. Okay, Paul Bankless. You're gonna meet yourself.
Good evening. Okay,
Yeah, good evening.
So I wanted to ask two questions actually. So the first is, so you said something about after a change of character, in order for you to confirm, you need another break of structure in that same direction, whether it's an uptrend or a downtrend. So my question is, after that second break of structure, is that where we start looking for our entries from? I know you're not talking about entries.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. After that second break of structure that confirms the new trend, that is where you now start looking for how to write down new trends.
Okay. So my second question is, when we have a change of character and then price now breaks in
somebody crying in your background.
No, I don't think it's mine. I think it's Emily.
Okay, I can hear you.
Yeah. So there was something again that you pointed out. So when we have a change of character and then price continues in the same, like in the opposite direction instead of going down, can we consider that low to be like
the new
a very
higher
protected low?
Yes. So long as it puts in a new high, it is now protected. I think if you notice when I was mapping, that happened one time or two. That happened.
Yes.
Price puts out exactly. So long as it puts in a new high, it is now a protected low. It is now a higher low.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So let me just take one more person. Sorry. Big mind effects. You can unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Please, when you were marking the market structure on the chart, the gold chart, so you marked out a change of character that happened on the 25th of August, 2024. Please, I don't know if you could put it back on the 25th of August, 2024.
This is August. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So this particular change of character that you marked out here, I saw that you didn't make use of the week. You referred to the body of the candle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I want to ask. That do you consider? Do you normally make use of the week or the body?
I usually use weeks, but if you notice it, you see the way that you see this week that you're seeing here, this week break here, it was not really significant for me to say that it was what took out this level. Because if somebody was trying to take a buy position from this level, their stop loss would have been probably around here. Do you get? The people would have probably covered here and maybe targeting somewhere here. So price wouldn't have really like taken them out. I mean, if this was a valid setup. So this is not a setup, I'm just like giving you an example. So if I'm using weeks, it has to be significantly like broken. It has to be a significant break. And that is why, like, instead I just prefer to tell people to focus on bodies. Do you understand?
Okay.
So because it was not significant enough, that's why. So I think 5 more hands are raised up. You can just ask the question on the Telegram group so that this spot is not get too bulky for people that would like to watch the recording. Remember that if at any point you have any question at all, any confusion, doubt, or anything you need clarity on, you can always ask on the Telegram group and tag me. Either me or the admins are going to attend to it as soon as possible, right? So I would like you guys to go to the 4-hour time frame of any pair of your choice. When we were setting up our trading view, we added some pairs to our trading view, right? So I want you guys to go to the 4-hour time frame of any of those pairs of your choice. We're going to pick 2 pairs, right? 1 crypto pair, 1 forex pair. So the crypto pairs can be like the BTC, the Solana, the Ethereum, and the rest of it. 1 crypto pair, 1 forex pair, like gold, EUR, USD, GBP, USD, or whatever. Where you're going to map out market structure from the 4 hours time frame, October 2024 to March 2025 of those 2 pairs. 1 crypto pair, 1 forex pair, October 2024 to March 2025 of those 2 pairs of your choice. And you're going to drop it on the assignment group. Now, this assignment must be submitted on or before 12 p.m. tomorrow, because we have a new topic coming up tomorrow. So which means that I need to complete market structure before then. So on or before 12 p.m. tomorrow, the assignments must be submitted. From 12 p.m., they're going to be assessed, and nobody's going to be replied to again if it doesn't join before then. That's enough time. You have time tonight and tomorrow to do that. If you have any question or you encounter difficulties when doing your assignments, you can still ask questions on the question subtopic, right? So I'll see you guys again tomorrow. But those of you that have your hands raised, your questions will be answered on the question subtopic group as well, like immediately after this class. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and take your lessons until we meet. Stan, you can end the recording. Thank you.